You and I have spoken before about psyops, psychological operations, where you attempt to influence your enemies. As you take a look at all that is going on here, is this one massive engagement in psyops of the domestic political kind?
Well, it appears to be, including the fake news. If you may remember, I think I explained it before, you have black psyop and you have white psyop. White psyop is when you get out and put a story out that's true and you want to have some reaction from your media. The second, you put it out as a false lie or a lie, and it's consumed by the media. And so this has been going on since I was a young intelligence officer in Germany, working out of the Berlin corridor over there when the Cold War was at its highest. So this continues to go on. But this latest information about hacking and all that has been going on for several months now. And I have seen no absolute proof that the Russians are guilty of anything at this point.
John Bachman, your take on this?
Well, the White House has even come out and been pretty clear about this, that even if there was some hacking involved, there's not any information to indicate that that hacking played a significant role in the outcome of the election itself. Some people have used this story to stand on its shoulders and project some image. I think Paul Krugman today, JD, said Trump is illegitimate as a result. This is so concerning on so many fronts. Both parties, some on the right who were never a fan of Donald Trump from the beginning, and those on the left looking to capitalize from this story, seem to be trying to use this for their own political gain in the short term. In the long term, I think we should all be concerned about what role Russia may or may not have played. But in the meantime, that's what these hearings are for with the Senate. Let's get the information out there and just take a deep breath before everybody jumps to conclusion about what role Russia actually played. There will be investigation. There should be an investigation. But here in the short term, we don't know.
Well,
so let's not jump to conclusions.
Well, here's the problem. We shouldn't jump to conclusions, but you mentioned, of course, the New York Times columnist Paul Krugman. Then today at the White House, there's Josh Earnest making up out of whole cloth, saying that Donald Trump encouraged the Russians to hack into the system. He didn't do that. He made a joke during the campaign. This larger issue, gentlemen, of fake news, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich took this on explicitly the other day, joining it to the New York Times. Let's look and listen.
I think if you went back through their coverage of the Trump campaign and the Clinton campaign, to use your language, not mine, they had a fair amount of conspiratorial BS. The best example is the woman who repudiated the entire article and said that they took what was a totally positive pro-Trump, he was a nice man, he was a gentleman, I enjoyed the date, and turned it into Trump hitting on her inappropriately. And she's the one who held the press conference and said this is crazy. Right. But I'll give you a much deeper, more serious example. Their coverage of Fidel Castro was totally fake. Their coverage of Stalin in the 30s was totally fake.
Paul Vallely, again, especially that historical example of the New York Times, and who was it, Walter Taranti in the 30s, talking about, the glory of the socialist state and the Soviet farmers and all that stuff. It was just pure propaganda.
I know, it's like a swirling dervish in a way with the news media today. But it's important to understand that when I met with Trump a month and a half ago with 200 other officers and people, cybersecurity was the top issue that he discussed with us. So with General Flynn in there with him, who's on top of things, I can tell you, as far as cybersecurity and as far as intelligence gathering and intelligence protection, they've got a good team there. So they're not sitting on the sidelines hoping this isn't true. They're trying to validate what is true and what is not true in this regard. So I think we have to be confident that President-elect Trump's got a good team, and they're going to be on top of this mission and issue.